The latest episode of HBO's The Shop featured Los Angeles Lakers superstar, billionaire, and partial owner of the Boston Red Sox, the one and only LeBron James. And guess what? He revealed which NBA team fans he hates the most. Curious? Well, keep watching because that's exactly what we're talking about today. So let's get into it.
But first, a reminder about our brand new giveaway. We're giving away a PS5 with a copy of NBA 2022 and Madden 22. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
First off, it's pretty obvious. From the days of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson on Showtime Lakers to the early 2000s matchup between the late Kobe Bryant and Paul Pierce, the Lakers-Celtics rivalry has long been publicized as the greatest in the sport's history. Though the blockbuster battles delivered some of the most memorable highlights in the history of the league on the court, but off it, the rivalry is an ugly representation of the sport's not-so-secret dark side. Lurking underneath the surface of NBA's fiercest rivalry, you won't just be finding a history driven by competition, but one that's also been marred by racism and bigotry. And now the league's biggest voice has spoken out. The Lakers star admitted on Friday that Boston was his least favorite city to play in, not because of his recent move to LA or because of the intense battles he's had with the Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce-led powerhouse of the late 2000s. So, what was the reason? When asked why he hated playing against the Celtics so much, he gave a simple and straightforward answer. It was because Celtics fans are racist as f***. He didn't have any problem with the team at all. In fact, he liked playing against them, but the fans made it impossible to enjoy anything at all. The star went on to explain that he has experienced racism his whole life and that he didn't mind it when they said stuff to him from the courtside, but what annoyed him was when they would often throw things at him. A pretty popular example of this was back in 2012 during the Eastern Conference Finals when the star played for the Miami Heat. A Celtics fan poured a drink on his head, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. There have been other similar instances as well. He's had beer thrown on him, and shirts that said "F LBJ" used to be sold at games. James isn't the only NBA star that has had sour experiences with this toxic fan base. Fellow star Kyrie Irving has also talked about his interactions with Boston fans. While playing for the Celtics, fans would constantly nag him for not bringing home championships and had racist remarks hurled at him left, right, and center. Jaylen Brown, shooting guard for the Celtics, also acknowledged that there's a lot of work to be done, though he clarified that he knew not all fans were racist, but a very vocal part of the fan base certainly was. As shocking as it may be, the signs have actually been around for decades. In fact, the very roots of this bitter rivalry have long been shrouded in racial tension. Moreover, how has race affected the Lakers-Celtics rivalry? While the early days of basketball have been headlined primarily by white players, largely due to segregation at the time, the introduction of athletes such as Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell permanently changed the sport's trajectory. Between the 60s and the 70s, more and more African-American players decided to make their way into the league. By the 1980s, the biggest stars in the game were then Dr. J and Moses Malone. Things were just about to get even more exciting. In 1979, the Lakers decided to draft a flashy point guard to be at the lead of their Showtime team. Irvin Johnson, or Magic as he soon became known, made quite an impact, even taking the Lakers to a championship in his very first season. However, the Lakers would get their party spoiled just a few years later when the Celtics brought out Larry Bird, a lanky white forward with curly blonde hair who stole the title right out from underneath them. Suddenly, a Lakers and Celtics rivalry was in the making. The Johnson-led Lakers went head-to-head with Bird's Celtics several times over the course of their careers, and while the two had nothing but respect for each other's games, the fans did not share the sportsman's spirit. Then, what has Boston's history with racism been like? For longtime Boston fans, racism hasn't been a new issue, but it really needs to be noted just how far the fan base has fallen. Very few seem to remember that it was actually the Celtics who were the first to break down the race barrier by drafting the first ever black player in basketball's history, Chuck Cooper. They were also the first to field an all-black starting lineup in the league and even made Bill Russell the first black coach in the league's history. These are significant milestones that everyone needs to recognize. However, somewhere along the way, things turned ugly. Even Bill Russell, the greatest ever player in the organization's history, turned his back on the fans because of the racism he both saw and experienced. The 11-time NBA champion even refused to have his LeBron's jersey retired in front of the fans. Instead, he chose to have a private retirement with the organization's own people. This is just a stark reminder that no team is made up of its fans, despite what they may want to think. In today's world, racial abuse against athletes can't be swept under the carpet any longer. For an organization fielding a primarily black starting lineup, the Celtics have continued to embrace inclusivity. Maybe now, like James suggested, it's time the fans also got on board. Meanwhile, in other NBA-related news, felony charges have been filed against Charlotte Hornets' Miles Bridges on charges of domestic violence and child abuse. According to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's statement on Tuesday, the Charlotte Hornets' restricted free agent Miles Bridges has been accused of assaulting his girlfriend in front of their 2 children last month and is currently facing 3 felony domestic violence charges. According to the statement, the case not just included an accusation of bodily injury on the victim, but it also revealed that there were children present for the alleged assault too, but didn't exactly specify where the child abuse counts came from. Bridges is scheduled to be prosecuted this Wednesday in Los Angeles Superior Court. Both the NBA and the Hornets revealed that they were aware of the charges and that an investigation was currently underway. Since it was a legal matter, they refused to make any further comments. Bridges' girlfriend, Michelle Johnson, posted several pictures on Instagram of her injuries and a medical report reading "Adult victim of physical abuse by male partner," followed by some of the injuries, which included a brain concussion and a fractured nasal bone. Domestic violence is an extremely serious case, and we hope that justice is served for the victim and her family. Andrew Wiggins regrets getting the COVID vaccine. Wiggins made his first ever All-Star team this year and was also a crucial part of the Golden State Warriors' victory in the NBA title. However, there's one thing that he regrets doing this season: getting a COVID shot. According to him, he was torn over the decision to get vaccinated at the start of the season. If he had not gotten vaccinated, he would have faced the same restrictions as Brooklyn Nets' Kyrie Irving, so he wouldn't have been able to play in some of the games because of COVID restrictions. However, unlike Irving, Wiggins eventually gave in and decided to get the shots. The forward explained that although he was happy at what he managed to achieve, he just didn't like putting all of these chemicals in his body against his choice, with the threat of not being allowed to play pressuring him to accept the shot. The 27-year-old is headed into his final season of the $147 million rookie extension from back in 2017 with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's now up for a contract extension before he becomes a free agent in the next offseason. Lastly, LaMelo Ball changes his jersey number. Charlotte Hornets guard LaMelo Ball is set to change his number 2 jersey number back to his original number 1 for the 2022 NBA season. The 20-year-old rising star has worn the number 1 jersey his entire basketball career before he entered the NBA back in 2020. However, because Malik Monk at the time wore the number 1 jersey for the Hornets, this forced Ball to wear the number 2, just like his older brother, Chicago Bulls' Lonzo Ball. During his first 2 years in the Hornets, Ball has risen to become a fan favorite in the league. The NBA even revealed that LaMelo's number 2 jersey was ranked 14th in sales throughout the second half of the season. Though he was originally fine with wearing the same jersey as his brother, he explained that he feels like the number 1 jersey represents who he is, and he wants to be able to wear it again. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on LeBron's comments? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.